Roblox filters are really strict. I literally could not get my channel name as my Roblox handle. Second game, second time I've had to compromise my gamer tag. Maybe I already need to rebrand. For anyone who's wondering how we got to this stage in a Roblox video, it's not a required watch, but part 1 sets the stage and will help catch those unfamiliar with Roblox up to where we are now. But for now, let's talk politics. I maintain a belief that most adults know just as little about politics as children, and with that in mind, throughout June and July of 2020, thousands of Roblox accounts were compromised and used to promote Donald Trump's re-election campaign, specifically to spread pro-Trump propaganda, with messages including MAGA 2020, that's Make America Great Again for anyone who's not near or in the US, and ask your parents to vote for Trump this year. The hack was executed using brute force attacks, literal trial and error to crack weak passwords. Despite being an old cyber attack method, brute force attacks are tried and tested, and remain a popular tactic with hackers. But honestly, in terms of cyber attacks, this is pretty tame. Roblox avatars were changed to red, white, and blue, and 2 free items from the avatar shop were purchased for the accounts. The Enciro cap, which resembles the MAGA hat worn by Trump and his supporters, and an ugly American Eagle t-shirt. Actually, they kinda nailed it. I'd imagine this had little to no effect on the election and ended up being more of a nuisance than anything. Most users were just required to change their passwords and enable 2-factor authentication. Ultimately, about 2,000 accounts were hacked. As a side note, a Roblox developer who went by the handle BirdDev uploaded an audio file to Roblox. Vote for Donald Trump. The link now shows content deleted, but the file was uploaded on June 27th, 2020, alarmingly close to the time in which the cyber attack started. The description for the audio file is exact to the messages that were sent as part of the cyber attack. Ask your parents to vote for Trump this year. Hashtag MAGA 2020. BirdDev now goes by DiscoHook. BleepingComputer.com described the audio as clearly the voice of a young child. Since we have the exact URL of the Trump audio, we can be sure that BirdDev and DiscoHook are the same account. And there's 2 audio files that do have a child's voice. So I think it's safe to say this is definitely the same voice of the pro-Trump propaganda message. Correlation does not imply causation, and I'm fully aware that I'm well within speculative territory here. But between the release date of the sound, the date of the hacks, the exact messaging, and the eventual removal of the sound effect, it's easy to speculate that these 2 things are, at least in some way, related. But let's have a listen.
Can I go kitten? Do.
That's literally just a kid. Like 5 to 10 max. Regardless if this account had anything to do with the hack, I'm definitely getting the impression that someone tried using their child as a stepping stone to get to the weirdest, most inefficient Trump rally imaginable. This could be nothing, but it does seem like someone mistreated their child by forcing their political agenda on them. Weird, but mistreatment is not always abuse. One of the issues with this case is that it doesn't specifically target Roblox. Officially, this is CU and SU versus Meta Platforms Incorporated, Snap Incorporated, Roblox Corporation, and Discord Incorporated, and was filed in the Superior Court of California County of San Francisco. When SU was around 9 or 10, her mother let her install Roblox. Early in 2020, an adult going by the name of Charles befriended the child online, through direct messages on the Roblox platform. Charles persuaded SU to move their conversations to Discord, and though hesitant, the little girl obliged, but made sure to activate the Keep Me Safe feature. Meanwhile, SU's mother was unaware of the Discord conversations. As part of his exploitation, Charles introduced SU to several of his adult friends, all of whom continued to abuse, exploit, and manipulate the victim. Charles coerced the girl into drinking and taking prescription drugs, and encouraged by adult men on Roblox and Discord, SU opened an Instagram and Snapchat account, even though she was still under 13. In July of 2020, another Roblox user named Matthew, representing himself as a game moderator, also began to exploit and groom the victim. Matthew manipulated the girl into giving him Robux, and eventually convinced her to send him sexually explicit images through Snapchat, which he allegedly sold to online buyers. During this time, SU also developed an addiction to social media, a growing phenomenon in which estimates suggest 70% of teens actually suffer from. Social media is addictive by design, so it's no wonder an 11-year-old struggled, which then led to continued abuse from grown men. Near the end of July 2020, the victim attempted suicide. She attempted several more times before her parents put her in a residential program, where a fellow patient sexually assaulted her. SU's mother had no choice but to quit her job and watch over her daughter herself, which has put her in a crippling financial position. And unfortunately, this is where the trail goes cold for me. I was unable to find any publicly available information on Charles or his friends. I didn't see a single instance where their last names were used. So I'm making the assumption that for the privacy of SU and her family, pseudonyms were used. Same thing with Matthew. There's just no information I was able to find in terms of convictions, sentencing, etc. I don't even know if they were charged. The only solace I can find here is that since the victim is named by initials in the newest legal findings, we can assume she's still alive. This isn't a one-time event either. It's important to remember that when we talk about Roblox developers, we're talking about the content creators, and not the Roblox corporation itself. Before we dip too far into this section, I want to make something perfectly clear. This is an infotainment series. I have no training in journalism, so I fact-check literally everything to the best of my ability. It's why this series takes me so long per episode, and I continue to check the facts and revise the content until I'm satisfied all information I'm presenting is accurate beyond a reasonable doubt. But it all starts with a Google search, and I cannot count the number of web pages dedicated to this incident that use John Shedletsky's profile picture. This is not the guy we're talking about. The guy we're talking about is a ghost online. John Shedletsky is one of the first Roblox employees. Have some f***ing journalistic integrity, you d***. Jacob Shedletsky, Jaden Shedletsky, Dr. Ofatnik, Alive Inside Mephiles, Dead Inside Mephiles, The Jetterman. In 2017, Arnold Castillo was in the early stages of developing a Sonic simulator for Roblox. Some of his fame came from the fact that he intentionally misled people into believing he was John Shedletsky's brother, a move that undoubtedly helped his experience rise in popularity. Arnold also hosted a Discord server for the game, which allegedly was full of members saying sexual things about minors, including Arnold himself. During this time, it's also alleged that he privately messaged underage Roblox users. When directly asked about his comments, Arnold is quoted as saying, "I'm apologizing for the things I've said. Moving forward, I will not have this behavior. My sense of humor has always been very harsh, dark humor if you will, but I had no intentions on moving on any of the things I said." At some point, Castillo took an interest in a 15-year-old girl who he met on the Discord server. In honestly one of the most brazen moves I've ever heard of, Castillo sent the teen a large sum of money, enough that she could get an Uber across several states to come to his place, with the intent to have sexual relations. Scratch that. She's 15. He gave her a large sum of money so that he could rape her. When the teen went missing, her disappearance was reported to the police by her mother, and after discovering their online interactions, she accused Castillo of kidnapping her daughter. Arnold was arrested by the FBI in May of 2022. He pleaded not guilty, and his trial was scheduled for November 7th, 2022. Unconfirmed reports suggest he received 2 life sentences and a $500,000 criminal fine. The biggest issue with this case is that Castillo had been known in the Roblox community as a predator since 2017, and literally nothing was done about it. The experience was so profitable for the Roblox Corporation that it actually took a copyright claim from Sega to have the game removed. Sega's pretty chill about fan games. This was Sega canceling Castillo. The Roblox Corporation chose to be complacent. Castillo was a reasonably successful developer, not some guy hiding in the shadows. Obviously, Castillo is the real problem here, but when a company stays willfully ignorant, they end up being just as responsible. There are other examples, but these 2 are the biggest and the easiest to use to drive home a point. Roblox and social media in general choose to remain complacent, and often do so for years. The thing is, this isn't the only thing Roblox has been complacent about. For years, there's been a real problem with Roblox condos, adult-themed experiences on a kid's platform. I'm working simultaneously on this video and part 3, and I'll give credit where credit's due. This problem does seem to be mostly solved as of the writing of the script. But I'm still going to talk about them in part 3. Oh my gosh, is this an homage and a condo game at the same time?